It's amazing how our life, if you look back at your life, all of us, and if you really start to look at the coincidences and the things that took place, a lot of times things, you didn't plan on. And when you start to see how they all connect in your life, I do right up until this very moment, I can connect the dots and all the seemingly random or unwanted happenings in my life. Just everything, and it all now looking back, I can connect the dots, and it all just fits together. When I was in my 20s, I went through a big change, and up until that point, believe it or not, I didn't really like myself too much, to put it mildly. And finally, something had to give. I was surrounded by tons of what I thought were my friends and a relationship, and that really just perpetuated that feeling, which was really stemming from me, of course. And so I broke out. I went off on my own. On a journey to self-love, and that's exactly what happened. And from there, I was put in circumstances, I was in places I never thought I would be, and made unlikely friendships, which led to unlikely opportunities way down the road, which, to summarize, created the opportunity for me to take a leap. And once I had really found a way to love myself, then it more became of now what do I do? And an opportunity arose to leave the city I lived in my whole life and all alone go to a different city, here, Hamilton, Ontario. And it was only recently that I realized, in the last few years, that my wonderful second-story apartment that I live in, my sanctuary, for the last 8 years, it only occurred to me in the last few years that I just blocked it out, that I started remembering being back in London and really wanting to change my life, really wanting to go out and do something different. And I realized that I actually did a lot of fantasizing about the kind of place that I would want to live in, the kind of neighborhood, the kind of environment. And then years later, many years later, having it and only occurring then and realizing then that it's exactly what I wanted is exactly what I got. So when I found the apartment, when I found the neighborhood, it was just random. I just had a feeling, and even when I found it, I didn't realize what I had found until, over time. I didn't even know this trail existed around the corner from the house. I just instinctively chose this neighborhood, which turned out to be, I think, the best neighborhood in the city, and it's right by the trail and waterfalls. I chose it and didn't realize till later that right around the corner was Lock Street and art shops and an art community and cafes and all that kind of stuff. Again, something that I had dreamed of, wanting to be around. Being around artists and festivals, turns out I didn't realize until the first September came around, after moving in, that there was a huge, amazing festival once a year, right at the end of my alley. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, sure, we don't always get what we want, but life sure gives us what we need. But sometimes it gives us what we want, and in this case, it did. And so it was all these different circumstances that were like dominoes that, if I had, in my 20s, kind of left it all behind and committed to making a change the way how I saw myself. And then once that took hold, years later, again, making a decision that I wanted to go out and live. I know my mother was also, I remember a conversation, and I had been taking care of her and my father, who had been ill for years, both of them. And so it was just me and them, and I was taking care of them. And I remember my mom telling me, "Mike, you gotta go live your life. You can't sit here forever and take care of us." And so again, circumstances eventually fell into place, circumstances for other people, my sisters. Circumstances in their lives changed, so they moved in, so now there was somebody there to take care of mom and dad, and mom and dad, started to feel better. Eventually my dad had other illnesses eventually and passed away, but from cancer, but originally it was 10 years of mini strokes, and that started to ease up a little bit, and my mom started to feel better, and then my sisters moved in, and so everything happened the way it should. My sisters needed it. In the end, it was great for my parents because my sisters were fantastic. As my dad fell to cancer, and so it was a long, many years of that, and his sister, my aunt Dorothy as well. So it was destiny that they would be there, and it also gave me the opportunity, because when I left, everything was great. So it gave me the perfect short little gap to listen to myself, listen to my mother, and go live. And so, yeah, I could get more detailed, but those are the general logistics, but all these different friendships, all these different opportunities. I came here for a job I would have never thought, a corporate job I would have never thought I would even be interested in. And in the end, that in the end I was downsized after a few years. But it wasn't for me, but it got me here. First thing I did was come straight to the falls at the trail. And while I was there, I realized I have to do something now. And I had put story on the back burner for many, many years called The Flower and the Giant. A story that had come to me in the middle of the night, like a flash. The premise, the title, everything just came. It was amazing. It was like I pulled it from somewhere. It was like I was a conduit. But I got put aside. And so, standing at the falls, trying to figure out what I was going to do, there was a rock formation that looked exactly like a big feline cat made of stone in the falls, under the falls. And it made me think of a great character that is now in the story. And so, that's right there and then I realized I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to write that book, and I'm going to do children's books. I'm now on a mission to find a deeper presence. I've always wanted to move to the country, and it just seems one thing after another gets in the way, and I know that it's where I really need to be, to live out in the country. And so I guess I'm just going to wait for life to give me that opportunity and to just appreciate the abundance I have now, and hopefully, I will eventually. Everything I need will come to me. So that's what I'm trying to do now, and I hope if you're going through similar kind of feelings that you're just taking care of yourself, being present, enjoying the wonder that is life, enjoying the now. It's a fantastical journey we're on. That's my new favorite word, fantastical. I'm not even sure it's a real word. But it is. Life is fantastical. This shell is fantastical. All of it, all of existence, consciousness. It's incredible. We really are so lucky. I know it doesn't seem that way. We certainly have our challenges, and some more than others, absolutely. But in the grand scheme of things, as human beings on this planet, in this universe, wow, talk about being blessed. So yeah, I'm excited. But I'm trying not to seek. I think it's the seeking that's kind of stagnated a lot of the growth, a lot of the opportunities that might have come. Just appreciate everything as it comes and let life unfold. So I encourage you to love yourself, love life, and just let it unfold. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.